Hi, many of you wanted to see the product that I purchased for my build, and this is going to be the unboxing of the ASUS X99M WS, which is a X99 Micro ATX motherboard. So I ordered this from Memory Express, and Memory Express is a company in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And there's one thing to notice about when you make purchases with them is that they'll charge your card right away when you make the purchase, which is kind of a strange thing compared to their competitors. And then when you're waiting for the status of what you purchase for delivery, it may take roughly 4 days, because what I did is I ordered it on a Saturday night. The process went through, no issues with my credit card, and the status was updated on the Tuesday to in process, and then the day after, that's when they prepared all the paperwork to ship it. So it took roughly 4 days, but if you're looking for weekdays of work, business work, roughly 2 days. So compared to their competitors, they're not as quick to ship this out. So I'm just going to open the box up. So this is how it looks like. This is how they ship they pack the box of the motherboard, which is fairly standard. It's fine for the destination and how it was shipped to this location here. So this is the motherboard. That's the box of the X99M WS. So this is a workstation server motherboard. It should come under 3 years warranty. A few specs on the box, which is fairly common for marketing and box packages. So overall, it's a motherboard box, nothing extremely special. In the back, there's other components, so it looks pretty nice. And the weight, one thing I noticed is the weight. The weight of it is fairly heavy compared to another Micro ATX motherboard that I purchased for a different build that I did for someone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this box, and in it you have the comes with a serial port, which I'm not going to be using for my build. It comes with also a USB port that you can plug from your motherboard to one of the slots, which I might use this one. I might make a different connection to connect somewhere else. Comes with the backplate. And what I find kind of neat with this backplate is it has a cushioning. I'm not sure if you can see it very well. There's a cushioning in the back compared to other backplates that I've seen which don't have a type of cushioning. So it might help with controlling the ventilations or preventing dust from getting in. And in the box there's a couple other things, such as the user guide, and there's the drivers as well. For this particular motherboard, I won't be updating the BIOS because the processor that I'm going to be installing is a Haswell E. It won't be a Bradwell E, so a BIOS update won't be necessary. There's other specs for the motherboard, which is fairly useful. There's also configuration manuals and other things you can use to fill out. So this is something I'm going to go through real quick before I make the build, because there's always little things that are different for board to board. So I noticed that with ASUS, this motherboard here has a couple different things compared to a new one that he released. So aside, what also came with this in the box, there's a SLI cable. It's not the high bandwidth cable, so I might not be using that with my graphic card, because my graphic card is a 1080 I'll be using for this build. And then there's a couple SATA cables, so which is nice. So in total, there's a fairly good amount of SATA cables. So you're good to go with all this right here. So this is a pack, 4 packs of 2 in each. So that's a fairly good amount of SATA cables. I won't be using that many, but that's one less trip to do to the store. And then this is a little neat thing that ASUS has in most of their motherboards, is the little pin connector that you plug all your wires to it from your case and so forth. And instead of playing on the motherboard, you just insert that whole block in. And this little thing that's different is with the newest motherboard that they're selling is the antenna. This one comes with the wireless card. And the new motherboard that they're also selling does not come with that, and that's the major difference. Now let's take out the motherboard itself. And this is where we're going to see why it's so heavy compared to the other motherboard that I've built before, that I've used, I should say. So if you look at this here, this is just the top view. And when you insert it in the case, it should look like this on this angle right here. So what you have here on this side here, you have the 2 10GB ports. You have the wireless Wi-Fi Go port, which is the wireless antenna card. And this here's your other ports for your audio for the onboard card. Sorry, the onboard chip. The onboard audio chip, sorry about that. I don't know if you can see that very well. And then we have over here the PCI Express. There's 3 of them. This card supports 2 cards at 16x, and then you have a shorter PCI Express here. And the other thing too is that you can insert an M.2 card right here, which is not going to be used in this particular build, but maybe in the future. And then you have over here the X99 chipset. Now if you look at all the components, you can see up here they're all pieces that are fairly thick, and there's a lot of metal involved in this board here. So that's one of the reasons why it's so heavy. You can see right here there's one power connection for the graphic cards, and at the top there's the ports for the more power for the CPU. And in the back, what I thought was really nice is that little backplate they put behind the processor. So that's fairly nice. So overall, there's one little thing that I was curious about is how come these are not covered? Because I'm sure they're gonna get fairly hot, but you can see that they're fairly high-end components, so they might be fine. But if I'm worried about heating, that's something I want to look more into. So overall, this is just the, it's a fairly good motherboard. I'm really happy with this one here. And that's going to go in the build I'm going to build very soon. So this is how the board looks like. So I hope I covered generally the looks of components. And on the side you can see here too, there's also like there's also here at the bottom, right here, there's the diagnostic buttons. There's also some LED connections. There's the memory test. There's a memory configurations, switches, all at the bottom here. And this right here is the, not exactly sure, I think that's for diagnosis as well. So this board has a lot of features that I really am looking to implement. So I'm really happy with this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that away. There's also at the bottom, right here, the diagnostic display. So if you have any issues, look up the code. That should let you know if there's any issue. So that's pretty much it for this motherboard here. So I'm really happy with that. And I'll do another one with within the build and the other components. So hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.